Yes, Gao Junwei gritted his teeth and cursed. I didn't expect that even the genius Dr. Tianqi would be bewitched by this kind of thief. Fredman Wilson asked in surprise, "What's the situation? Uncle Shi also knows that Charlie?" Noah Wilson nodded and said, "It seems that the relationship is pretty good. I don't know what's going on." Fredman Wilson said coldly, "How can his relationship with Uncle Shi compare to my relationship with Uncle Shi? I know Uncle Shi when I was 3 years old. This has been more than 50 years. After speaking, he walked in with a haughty look. As soon as he entered the door, he shouted, "Uncle Shi, save me, Uncle Shi." The guy inside who just drove Gao Junwei away said, "Sir, we are already closed. If you want to see the doctor, come back tomorrow." Fredman Wilson hurriedly said, "I and Uncle Shi are old friends. Our two families are family friends." As he was speaking, Tianqi heard the sound and greeted him from inside. Seeing Fredman Wilson, he asked in surprise, "Fredman? Why did you come to Orus Hill?" Fredman Wilson said, "It's a long story, let alone those, Uncle Shi, I'm sick, you can save me." Tianqi hurriedly said, "Don't worry, slowly tell me what's going on." Only then did Fredman Wilson spoke and explained his condition again. After Tianqi finished listening, he slowly frowned. "Necrosis? This is really tricky. In Chinese and Western medicine, there is no good way to treat it. If it is really necrotic, basically it can only be scrapped." So, he hurriedly asked, "How did you do this? It's not easy to see such special nervous necrosis." Fredman Wilson didn't want to talk about his embarrassment tonight. He said vaguely, "I don't know what's going on. It's just like that. I went to the People's Hospital just now, where I checked it out and said it was neurological." After speaking, he pleaded with a sad face, "Uncle Shi, I was the one you grew up watching. You must help me." Tianqi felt very tricky. This illness is not easy to deal with, even with his medical skills. It can only be said to maintain the status quo so that he will not be necrotic there. But if you want to cure nerve necrosis and restore function, I'm afraid it's impossible. So he sighed and said, "Fredman, your problem is very serious. Nervous necrosis is an international medical problem. It can't be cured, and I have no good way." Fredman Wilson hurriedly asked, "Uncle Shi, I heard from the attending doctor at the People's Hospital that you can cure even the paralysis below the neck. Why can't I be cured with such a slight paralysis?" Tianqi sighed and said, "To tell you the truth, your disease is either incurable or the cost of treatment is too high." After speaking, he said again, "I have a magical medicine given by my benefactor in my hand. The effect of this magical medicine is really amazing. You only need to take half a pill and you will get better." Fredman Wilson was overjoyed and hurriedly pleaded, "Uncle Shi, then you can give me this medicine. You can't just watch me become incompetent." Tianqi was also a little embarrassed and said sincerely, "Fredman, Uncle tells you the truth. I originally planned to keep this medicine for my life. As you know, I am old and the doctors will not treat themselves. Maybe someday I am dying and I will rely on this medicine to save my life." Fredman Wilson hurriedly knelt on the ground and cowed out his head while begging, "Uncle Shi, you can't die without saving. You can save me this time because of the face of my father and the friendship between our two families for so many years. Right?" Tianqi hesitated for a moment, struggling inwardly. After a while, he let out a long sigh and said, "It's fine, I'll give you half of this medicine." He received the favor of Fredman Wilson's father. Although he has been helping their family members to see a doctor for these years, the kindness has long been reported several times or 10 times, but now that Fredman Wilson has suffered this kind of injury, he feels that he can't die. Seeing Tianqi finally let go, Fredman Wilson was overjoyed and couldn't help but thank Tianqi. Tianqi was about to take out half of the magic medicine he had personally cherished but suddenly saw Jovia rushing in from outside. Fredman Wilson was in a good mood. He saw the young and beautiful Jovia running in and said with a smile, "Oh, Jovia. Do you know Uncle Wilson?" When Jovia saw him, she was stunned. Looking at Grandpa Tianchi, he actually took out half of the magic medicine that Mr. Wade gave him. She felt a little in her heart, and hurriedly walked over, pulled Tianchi aside, and whispered, "Grandpa, what are you doing?" Tianchi sighed and said, "Your Uncle Wilson is injured. I am going to give him this half-magical medicine, as it is to pay back the kindness of his Wilson family back then." Jovia hurriedly said, "You can't help me, Grandpa. Let's not say that you have reported the favor of the Wilson family thousands of times a long time ago. Just talk about this wretched Fredman Wilson. Do you know who he offended today?" Tianchi hurriedly asked, "Who did he offend?" Jovia blurted out, "Mr. Charlie Wade."